You open your bank account, scroll through your investments, maybe even tally up your net worth. On paper, everything looks fine, yet there's this nagging feeling that you're still falling behind. Friends are buying homes, upgrading their lifestyles, posting travel photos, and meanwhile, you're just trying to make it to the next paycheck. How can that be if your numbers aren't bad? That feeling of being behind when you're actually doing well is something so many people face. And the reason isn't about spending more or keeping up with everyone else. It's about timing, perception, and the quiet wins that never make it onto social media. By the end of this video, you'll see why feeling behind may actually be a sign you're further ahead than you think. When we talk about life and money milestones, it's easy to assume they're absolute measures of success. Be a millionaire by 50, own a house by 35, buy a new car when you land your first job, then replace it every few years. These sound like achievements, but really they're cultural checkpoints more than anything else. And because everyone seems to chase them at the same time, they create the illusion that if you're not hitting them on schedule, you're falling behind. But in reality, most of these benchmarks are about appearances, not actual financial health. Think about it. Someone might earn $400,000 a year and spend $500,000. They look successful on the surface. Nice car, big house, polished image, but underneath, they're sinking into debt. Another person might earn $50,000, live on 30, save consistently, and sleep soundly at night. Their life doesn't look flashy, but it's secure. Real success isn't measured by arbitrary milestones. It's measured by flexibility, stability, and the freedom to make choices without constantly worrying about money. So why does it feel like you're behind? It's not your bank balance. It's comparison. Every time you scroll through Instagram or listen to coworkers talk about their renovations and vacations, your perfectly fine life suddenly feels inadequate. But you never see the trade-offs, the debt, the stress, the sacrifices made quietly in the background. Comparison is dangerous because it convinces you to measure your life against the highlight reels of others, when in truth, your own progress is already stronger than you realize. If you never saw what anyone else was doing, would you still feel behind? Or would you see that living within your means, building investments, and having peace of mind is actually winning? Financial peace doesn't trend. It doesn't get likes or comments, but it quietly gives you something more valuable than the latest upgrade: freedom. And here's the twist. Feeling like you're falling behind is sometimes the clearest sign you're doing the right things. People who constantly think about their finances are usually more intentional. They check balances, track spending, invest consistently. They may feel anxious at times, but that awareness is what pushes them forward. On the other hand, those who never stress about money, who shrug and assume it'll work itself out, often find themselves stuck later. The worry you feel is not proof of weakness. It's proof that you're paying attention. Take two coworkers in their early 30s earning the same salary. One keeps a close eye on their 401k contributions, their emergency fund, their expenses. The other racks up credit card debt, ignores their accounts, and enjoys the moment. 10 years later, the careful one may still feel a little stressed, but they've built stability. The carefree one might still look happy, but they're stuck in the same cycle, paycheck to paycheck. That constant little voice in your head, that's not failure. It's discipline in disguise. Housing is a perfect example of how society distorts milestones. Everyone preaches that buying a home is the ultimate sign of success. But sometimes renting makes more sense. Renting keeps your savings liquid, gives you flexibility, and avoids tying you down with a massive mortgage. Yet culture frames renters as if they're failing. Or look at student loans. Paying them off slowly can feel like dead weight. But in many cases, keeping the lower interest debt and investing instead builds more wealth long term. These aren't signs you're behind. They're strategic moves that set you up for a stronger future. Cars are another trap. Buying a shiny new car gets compliments, posts, and instant gratification. But that feeling fades while the payments and depreciation stay. Holding on to your old car might not impress anyone, but it keeps your finances intact and your future open. These quiet decisions, paying off a credit card early, automating retirement contributions, building a cash buffer, don't get applause, but they create the kind of security no flashy purchase can buy. Psychology also plays a huge role in why we feel behind. Humans are wired to notice what's missing more than what's already been achieved. You focus on the $10,000 of debt still lingering, not the $20,000 you already paid off. You worry about not owning a house instead of acknowledging the growing retirement balance in your account. Our brains are trained to see gaps, which was great for survival, but terrible for appreciating progress. The danger is letting this perspective rob you of motivation. If all you see are missed milestones, you'll ignore the wins that are compounding quietly in the background. And here's the truth most people miss. Wealth always feels slow in the beginning. The average millionaire doesn't hit that milestone until their 60s. That's decades of steady saving, investing, and avoiding major mistakes. In your 20s and 30s, progress feels invisible. Debt still looms, savings grow slowly, and it seems like everyone else is racing ahead. But what's really happening is that you're laying the groundwork. The early years are the hardest part, quiet, unglamorous, and frustrating, and most people give up just before things start to accelerate. So if you feel behind, it doesn't mean you are. It means you're noticing the gap between where you are now and where you want to be. That's awareness, and awareness leads to action. What matters isn't checking off cultural milestones on schedule. It's making steady, intentional choices that build flexibility and freedom. Progress in wealth isn't loud. It doesn't always show up in houses, cars, or vacations. It shows up in reduced stress, in options, in the ability to say no without fear. The next time you feel behind, remind yourself that wealth isn't a race. It's not about matching someone else's timeline. It's about compounding small, smart choices into something massive over time. True success is invisible until it isn't. And if you're watching this and worrying about your path, chances are you're already further ahead than most. So keep going. The payoff will be bigger than you think. Thanks for watching InvestingFlix, where smart money learns smarter moves. Subscribe for more insights that grow your wealth.